Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. I hope you guys are all enjoying your weekend, enjoying your Sunday. I've just about dried off following my visit yesterday to the Gateshead Stadium. 12,000 Geordies piled in to the Gateshead International Stadium and were absolutely soaked as a thunderstorm crossed the stadium. I thought it was going to get cancelled at one point, but it wasn't. And Newcastle went from 2-0 down to win 3-2. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that game in this video today. I want to talk about Eddie Howe's interviews that he did after the game, where he spoke about the fact that maybe we aren't as close to making some signings as some people hoped for. He spoke about how he's definitely wanting to keep Maxi at the club this summer window. And obviously, following those interviews, we've had more links to Maxi leaving than we've had in weeks. We've had more links to new players coming in this window than we've had in weeks. So I want to talk about Eddie Howe's interview, and I also want to talk about these links, one of which being Newcastle are currently leading the race for the Monaco centre-back DISASI, as reported by Sky Sports. TalkSport releasing this morning that Newcastle will sell Saint-Maximin in order to bring Harvey Barnes into the club, and the insane reports coming out from a number of sources that Newcastle have placed an 82 or 80 million pound bid for Carvadonna, the Napoli winger, who I think has just had the season of his life. I think he's probably worth more than 80. I think he's probably worth over 100 million. So we've got Eddie Howe saying that it's not happening, and then we've got all of this going on over here as well. So I thought we'll just run through all of it in today's video. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, be sure to do so. I know loads of you guys watch my videos pretty much every day at the moment, but haven't hit that button. It really helps the channel. It really helps the reach of the channel, and yeah, let's get into it. So yesterday, Gateshead Stadium, as I say, it was, you know what it is, it was good fun. It's probably easier to say that because of the fact that after I did get soaked and that we did win in the end, I only had 2 stops on the metro and I was home. So, you know, if I was having to get on a 3-hour bus home, I'm not sure I would have quite enjoyed it so much. But yeah, the half-time thunderstorm was probably the best thing we saw for about 60 minutes. As I say, the lineups come out. There was no Tonali that everyone hoped for. There was no Bruno. There was Joe Little. Although they were there, they were sat in the stands. So Tonali got his first true experience of the northeast weather. I bet he's sitting there going, "God, take me back to Italy." But it is expected that we will see those players feature in the Rangers game on Tuesday. So hoping to get them back up and running very, very soon. But as I say, I think the most exciting thing for the first 60 minutes was actually the thunderstorm, because there was not a lot of good going on. Thankfully, in the second half, we stepped it up. A few of the youngsters started coming on the pitch. I think Lewis Miley caught the attention of a lot of people. Great pass through for Turner Cook to get the third goal not far from the end and win us the game. So yeah, some promising things for some promising young players coming onto the pitch. Obviously Anderson got himself a goal as well, which was brilliant, and so did Maxi. So yeah, going 2-0 down, winning 3-2, despite the fact we started the game with 5 or 6 left backs on the pitch. You know, that lineup came out. I'm walking down there in the rain and I'm thinking, really, this is what I'm going to go to? But yeah, we sorted it out in the end. And as I've mentioned, Eddie Howe did his press conference after the game, which I think press conference interview, which a lot of people were very interested in. He spoke about the transfer window. He gave some quite, what I think were honest thoughts on where Newcastle currently stand. And I would go as far as say, as he sounded quite frustrated in the interview. You know, there was actually a point where I think it was Keith Downey who was doing it for Sky Sports and said, you know, from what I can tell, you are quite happy with the fact that Tonali's through the door so far, and that up to this stage you're quite happy with the way it's gone. And he was like, he didn't say yes to that. He was like, well, actually, you know, we want to do more, and we want to do more as quickly as possible. So in that interview, he said that he's prepared to be patient. Obviously, he wants to get things right, and that he is aware that we need to improve this squad. A time will come where we need to move quicker, and I'm very aware that we need more. Then said, this squad is not enough. So Eddie Howe there, as I say, a bit frustrated, but also quite honest with his thoughts on where we are in this transfer window. He's saying, and I think we've seen this, since since the owners came in, since Dan Ashworth came in, since Eddie Howe came in. We've seen us, target certain players and go back for them and go in for them and allow sometimes talks to maybe continue on for some time, not always just going, right, move on from you, go somewhere else. And I think that can cause frustration because it feels like things aren't moving as quickly. So that's it. Eddie Howe's saying that he will be patient and that he can do it, but he also realises that if it isn't going to happen, okay, we need to move on and we need to look somewhere else. So yeah, it was interesting to hear him from that, and I think that probably brings us quite nicely onto maybe the two main links that are coming out from sources at the moment, which is the Harvey Barnes deal, and I think the Livramento one as well. I think those are two reports that kind of came out, and everyone's going, okay, we're here, and personal terms are agreed with Harvey Barnes, and it's going to get over the line very, very quickly. And then Eddie Howe's now saying, actually, we're not as close on some of these deals as maybe some people think. And I will take everything Eddie Howe said, by the way, with, I was going to say a pinch of salt, like a jug of salt, because Eddie Howe is not going to come out and say, oh yeah, they lined up at the door. Now, they're actually in the back office, they're at the training ground. I'm going to go straight over there and start doing the contract. He's never going to come out and say that, but I think Eddie Howe is, as much as he will toe the line with what he says, I think he came across quite honest in that interview, so I think I would generally take it for face value on what he said. But if we're close for someone, he's not going to go, oh yeah, it's going to be done soon. I think the Harvey Barnes and the Livramento one, I think that's literally just it. I think it's just what we've just said there. I think talks are there, talks are ongoing. It could well be that Harvey Barnes has agreed personal terms, but it could be that he's also agreed them with West Ham, and he's also agreed them with Villa, and now all three clubs have maybe placed their bids to Leicester. Maybe it's Leicester who are taking their time, or maybe it's Harvey Barnes who sat there and gone, right, I've got 3 deals on the table. And he's now ringing them all up again, going, well, you know how you said I was going to get paid 60,000? Well, if I come to you, would you give us 65,000? If I come to you, could you buy me dad a new car? Like, we don't know what's happening. But there's obviously a lot of interest in the player. I think it's reported that he's keen on Newcastle because of the fact that we can offer him Champions League football, which is a massive pull for us, but it doesn't mean that it can happen overnight. So, yeah, I would take what Eddie Howe said with a pinch of salt. And I will also add that despite the fact that things are not close and talks are ongoing, this is Newcastle, and we have some owners with some money in their back pocket, and who knows, maybe that money in their back pocket could be whipped out at any time, to be honest, because we saw it with Isak. Didn't look like that was going to happen. Oh, hang on, we've just found 60 quid in the back drawer, let's get this one moving now. We've saw it with Tonali, no one really saw that one coming. All of a sudden, 55 million, and we're doing it. Is Eddie Howe waiting for the Newcastle owners to go, Harvey Barnes, yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, okay, no, let's do it. So, as much as he's saying we need to move quicker, is that we need to move quicker away from him and look at somewhere else? Or is he saying, we need to move quicker. Let's just get the wallet out and just get this one done. So, yeah, we'll wait and hear on that one. But in terms of Harvey Barnes, as I mentioned earlier on, TalkSport reporting that Newcastle will have to sell Maxi in order to buy Harvey Barnes. Now, Eddie Howe was asked about Maxi after the game as well. He said that he'd definitely love to keep Alan Saint-Maximin at the club. You could see his quality on the pitch today. He's come back in a good place mentally, and he's pleased to see him, which, is pretty much what Eddie Howe has been saying all along, and it's... Well, I was going to say, if that's what Maxi... We don't know what Maxi's saying. Maxi's posting random things every day, which we don't know what Maxi's doing. But I did say in my video on the way up to Gateshead Stadium yesterday that I would love to see Maxi feature, because as soon as Maxi doesn't feature, it's, well, why didn't he play Maxi? Where's Maxi? Is Maxi on his way off? Have we arrested Maxi? Well, no. We played him. Would you play... If you're going to try and sell someone for 30, 35, 40, 50 million... Do you play them in a game against Gateshead, especially in those conditions on the pitch as well? My God, he could have had a 2-footer in the back of the leg at any time. So if we were selling him, you'd think we probably wouldn't have played him. There's probably one inkling there. But just as Eddie Howe says, we're going to keep him. More links coming out that Maxi is going to Saudi Arabia, and we'll have to just wait and see. I've spoken about this a lot on Maxi, so I won't go over it again today. It's all about what the price is, really. if somebody does come out and offers 60, 70, 80 million for Maxi, I mean, what do you do? And I think maybe Maxi would relish a chance to move away and try and start afresh, or as I've said a million times before, he's one of the best players we've got on this day, and is it worth selling him if we're not going to bring somebody in who's better? So yeah, Eddie Howe saying he wants to keep Maxi, as the links to Maxi leaving go through the roof. So we'll wait and hear on that one. But in terms of other transfer links coming out since the game, and Eddie Howe saying that we haven't got money and we have to wait and see what happens, Sky Sports are reporting that we are leading the race for the centre-back AXEL DISASI, the Monaco centre-back. I think we all know that centre-back would be a position we would ideally like to strengthen this window, along with a few other positions. This is the thing, we played 5 or 6 left backs in the starting 11 against Gateshead yesterday. Left back's a position that we're looking to try to strengthen. You can even say, Manquillo played, he can play left back as well. So yeah, it's a strange one, and you've got to think if that's a position we are going to look to strengthen. There's a few players who do need to go out the door, not namely Maxi, but a few others as well. But centre back DISASI, who's been linked with Newcastle and Manchester United. Sky Sports Germany are reporting that we are leading the race on him. Football playing right-sided centre-back who can challenge Shaw for a spot, and even if it's not come in straight for Shaw, I mean, look, Shaw had a fantastic season, probably one of the best he's had at Newcastle, as many players did this season. It's not to say he's going to suddenly come in and take a spot, but it creates backup, and it allows an ageing Shaw who's injured a lot. Although he puts his life on the line for us, I'll give him credit for that, and he does often play. He plays through it a lot as well. It's good to have somebody else there. So let me know your thoughts on the DISASI one down below. As much as anything else, I think it's just good that that's a position that we are looking into, and it does bring us on to the reports coming out as of last night. The Express are reporting this, along with a few other outlets, that Newcastle are putting in what's being called an £80+ million bid for someone who's being called one of the best young players in the world, possibly one of the best in the world, has just had the season of his life at Napoli, and it is the Napoli winger KVARATSKHELIA, a young player, and as I've said already, I don't know if 82 million's even enough. I think it might have to be £100 million plus. Now, a lot of people online calling this absolute rubbish, and it could well be. I mean, it's one of those things where you never know with the Newcastle owners. If they see something they want, maybe they'll go and try and get it. But having this come out literally hours after Eddie Howe has just said that we have no deals closing in, people are talking about FFP. We're going to have to sell Maxi to buy Harvey Barnes, and then you've got somebody else saying that we're going to buy this guy for 80+ million. So, I mean, look, if it happened, I wouldn't mind it. He's a quality player. I think there's obviously going to be a lot of players, clubs interested in him, and Napoli are going to want quite a substantial fee for it to happen. So yeah, it's the Express reporting it, along with a few, I would say, more murmurs rather than reports, but at the time of recording, they are the main one who are putting this out there. So you let me know your thoughts on that one down below. I think it's a player that a lot of us would like to see, although I think a lot of us would say, let's wait until we see maybe Sky Sports and a few others comment on it as well. So we'll wait on that one. But you let me know your thoughts on the Gateshead game down below. Obviously, it's not too much to read into. It's a friendly, and we did win it in the end, and it was a chance for some of the youngsters. I think we'll see a lot more main team players feature on Tuesday night. What are your thoughts on Eddie Howe? I think trying to downplay what's happening in this transfer window, trying to downplay where we are in terms of transfers. And I think there's some truth to what he's saying, but I would say there's also take it with a pinch of salt. And also, with the Newcastle owners, things can change like that. Eddie Howe stood on the touchline yesterday going, well, things aren't very close. By tonight, Harvey Barnes could be on a train on the way to the training ground, so things can literally snap overnight, and all of a sudden the links to DISASI, the links to the KVARATSKHELIA are all of a sudden all over the shop. So yeah, things are moving very quick in terms of when Newcastle are interested, when Newcastle are talking with, who we're talking with. What's taking time is actually getting stuff done over the line, in the words of Eddie Howe. So yeah, you let me know your thoughts on that one down below. Thank you for watching as always. Quite a long one today, lots to get through, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.